Salute to you all, the brave never fall. I'm not sure this is the actual quote. It just popped into my mind as I was preparing for this topic. And that's, you are what you do repeatedly. Aristotle said that. I don't know if that's the direct quote, but you are what you do repeatedly is self-discipline to me. The definition of who you are is what comes into play whenever someone meets you. First impression is everything, right? So when someone meets you for the first time, if you're smiling, how you interact with other people, people notice these things. They pick up on certain things that you do. They will make an assessment, an initial judgment upon your character, who you are, how you carry yourself, and what type of person you are in their minds as far as projection go. Do you have potential to be more than who you are? Or are you someone who is easily overlooked, someone who is easily pushed over by other people, someone who has no confidence, someone who is mistreating other people, someone who is a narcissist, someone who is manipulative, selfish? Are you caring, helpful, empathetic? Without word or without even a simplest sign of that these people are judging you and looking at you, you have to be assuming at all times that these unspoken words and these eyeballs are looking at you and they're judging every action. Every time you move, every time you walk, every time you talk, these people are looking at you and they're judging you. And I used to have a fear complex about that. I used to have a fear complex about people misjudging me. I used to have a complex about people setting the bar too high for myself, and then I couldn't live up to their expectations, that potential that they may have seen in me. So what do? You start pretending to be what people want you to be instead of actually being comfortable in your own skin and projecting to them exactly who you are, which is what you're showing them through action, through self-discipline, through the self-love you have for yourself. These things are found within you over time. They're not something that you conjure up like a witch's cauldron and you just make this brew and you drink it every morning. And while that drink is inside of you, you're good to go. Everyone's going to see you the way that you're going to be. And somehow, not only are they going to see you, it's going to enter every cell in your body and you're going to become this higher being, this person everybody gravitates towards. We know that's not true. We know that's not true. We know that there's no magic witch's cauldron that you can go in and pour all these different potions that you take from different people, and all the negative situations you have kind of go away and they evaporate into this mist, and you kind of like you're in a Native American tent and you're smoking something and you're just kind of sucking it all in, and hopefully you have an experience that will take you away from this world. We don't live in that world. We live in the real world. The real world says you are who you are. And people will see that. And it really doesn't matter when someone doesn't know your core, your spiritual core. Regardless if you follow religion or not, you have a soul. That core inside of you, people will see that. And you need not do anything more than that. You need not do anything more than that, but be exactly who you are. It is a fundamental thing that I wish I had known my entire life. I did not know it, and it led me down into the briar patch, and I would get stuck down there. And I would just feel like I was in a tar pit, just constantly. If I even tried to get any forward momentum, if I even tried to get any type of motivation for myself, it seemed like life would just say, you know what, go back to the pit. Get back inside of that tar pit, and you stay there until you figure out how to get out of it. Fair or unfair, that is life. We have to navigate through this stuff. How do you not get in the pit? Prepare that you may fall into a pit at any time. You have to be prepared for anything. You have to have forward momentum. You have to look forward. You have to look on the horizon. You have to see. You have to project. You have to assume that you are capable to do anything. And then take that assumption, actually apply it, and make it a fact. If you doubt yourself and you're assuming you can do something, that's not a good place to be in. It's a place that can help you in little small tasks here and there where you say, whoo, I just by the skin of my teeth got past that situation that should have buried me. And somehow I got past that. I was lucky. That's what people say. I was lucky to get past the situation. Was it luck? Or did you really actually know what you were doing subconsciously and you got through it because you got through it through strength? You got through it through character. You got through it through determination, and you refused to be held back by whatever situation that is. That's not luck. You created that. You created that through your own self-discipline, your own will that you have in yourself. No one says you have to have a whole closet full of self-discipline. You just need something in there to start with. To build a wardrobe, you have to first hang up the first shirt, the first set of pants. You got to get the shoes. You got to put the ensemble together. You got to build the wardrobe one article of clothing at a time. And once you get something you're pleased with, you can close the doors and be satisfied. Eventually, that's going to run out. You're going to say, oh, this is old, this is dirty, this needs to be thrown away. I should donate this. It's time to fill in the gaps. I'm going to keep the ones that are precious to me, that are going to stay in this wardrobe. And the other stuff I'm going to take and I'm going to give it to someone else. I really like this article of clothing. I would think that this person over here would love it. That's almost like handing away your knowledge and advice. You say that this has been torn, ripped, it's dirty, it served its purpose, it serves no longer as something that benefits me or adds value to my life. It's time to toss that away. That's almost like getting rid of toxic people. What you have to do is you have to go through that wardrobe and you have to take a look. You don't want cobwebs getting all over your clothing. You don't want to open up that door and smell some funky odor. You know, what is that? And it's the dirty socks that you left in the corner. You got to open up that door and you got to sift through these things. You got to see what you have and what you don't have. What would you like to upgrade? Who says you have to keep anything? Toss them all in a bag and donate them and just start over from scratch. I know I did that. The time will come, maybe in certain aspects of my life, I may have to do that again. And that's what brings you back to, you just want something in there. You don't want nothing in there. You don't want to open it up and have absolutely nothing. That means you're living in an empty house. You want to open that up and you want to see something. And you want to see something you can build on. But most importantly, you want to see stuff that is catered to you, not to anyone else. You don't want to open up a wardrobe and see a bunch of clothing that someone else is going to wear, not you. You want your pants to fit. You want your shirt to fit. You want everything to be catered to you. Everything tailored to you. Specifically to your unique value, to your unique standard. Regardless if it's just t-shirt and jeans. I'm a t-shirt and joggers guy. V-neck all the way. That's who I am. If people don't like that, so what? It's who I am. It's a reflection of who I am. I cannot be who I'm not. That leads us back to that quote. You are what you do repeatedly. And that will lead to the topic of this. After that introduction, I like to say that is what's so important in life, is that we do things that are self-disciplined and you add them in to the point where they are you. And drama is one of those things that I have seen so many times turn good, kind, decent, empathetic people into a living, walking nightmare sitcom, unraveling right in front of your face like a TV show. Drama, drama, drama. It has happened to me over and over and over again, to the point where I always thought maybe I am part of the drama. And I had to prove to myself over time that it wasn't me, because the common denominator in all these things, whenever you get into a repeated pattern of anything, you're always going to be the common denominator, because you're the one going through it every single time. Regardless if it's initiated by you or not, you are the common denominator. You have to either see it in yourself and fix it, or remove yourself from that equation. You don't want to be the common denominator in a drama-filled situation over and over and over again. Drama happens. Drama is a part of life in itself. We're living in drama every time we wake up and draw a breath. What you don't want drama is when it starts leaning towards negative, hard, weird situations with people and places and things in your life that are reoccurring, and there's something you can do. The great thing about drama is it can be avoided. It can be maintained. You can't avoid the overall drama of life. You still have to get up and go through all the challenges and all the choices you have to make, and all the people and the interactions and the relationships. Those things are all going to be there. The drama comes in when people are making life far too hard, far too complicated, much more complex than it ever needs to be. And I've learned through stepping back and assessing, is it me or is it everything around me that causes drama? And I noticed, you know what? It was me. The common denominator in every single one of these situations I felt was just too much drama for myself, and just unnecessary stress, unnecessary arguments and blow-ups and anger and frustration. And I've talked about anger on the podcast before and how you can repurpose that. I'll put a link in the description. Go down there and check that video out if you want to learn more about how I handle my anger and how I overcame all the stress in my life and anger and not knowing what to do when I'm fearful. Instead of lashing out, what's the proper way of handling that and what the results are. I found out over time that if I didn't want to be involved in drama, then just don't be involved in drama. Be drama free is something I think of all the time in my head. Whenever I go into a situation, whenever I try to talk to someone, now you're never going to go your whole life drama free. Just like you're never going to go your whole life without some type of a big catastrophe happening or a death in a family or a wedding. I mean, these things are going to happen in your lifetime, regardless if you like it or not. It's like trying to avoid your birthday. It doesn't matter. You can act like you weren't born on a certain day. If you get through a whole calendar year, you went through your birthday whether you liked it or not. It's just a part of life. You're getting older every single year, regardless if you celebrate your birthday or not. It's the same way with drama. You're going to find yourself in it regardless, because people around you will be in drama and you will be stuck like, oh shit, how did I end up in here? But the difference between that is that now you're aware that you don't want to be a part of it and you can remove yourself from the situation. You're not going to allow it to make you the focal point of the drama to the point where now you feel like you got to go and reassess all the thoughts and emotions you had in those moments where things were getting tense, you were getting frustrated, you were getting angry. You were letting other people manipulate your emotions and manipulate your actions and make you basically take a chunk out of your character on the behalf of other people who don't know how to handle situations, do not know how to communicate, and they don't care what other people think of them. They don't care if you're upset. They don't care who gets mad at them. They just want to feel good in the moment. They want to win the argument. They want to win the battle. They want to win the job. They want to be selfish and live in their own worlds, and they want you to be a part of it, because if you're not a part of it, that means you're better than them. And they can't have that. They don't want to feel miserable by themselves. They want somebody to be drawn in with them. So they invite you into the drama party. They open up the door. They say, come on in. They say, sit down on the couch. Let's have a drama talk conversation. And they will draw you into this thing. Why even enter the door? Why even pull up at all to the house? Don't pull up. Keep driving. Keep walking. Keep moving. When you're walking your path, you don't want to be stopped by people who are going to turn you around and say, hey, A, B, and C. And you can tell by A, B, and C that this conversation is going to go absolutely nowhere. It's not going to fix anyone's problems. No resolutions are going to be made. Nothing. No compromise. No sacrifice on either end. Nobody is going to help anyone in this conversation. So why even enter it? That's your right to do that. Be drama free. Be drama free. It's something that as we go through this in this podcast, I want you to kind of keep in your mind. Be drama free. It's very simple. If you remind yourself of that every time you get inside a conversation with someone, because conversations can turn left very quick. We all know that. When those conversations start to turn quick, you got to be quicker turning the opposite direction. You put up your stop sign, say, hey, look, we're at a crossroads here. Which way are you taking? Because I respect you as a person. I respect your opinion. I respect everything about you, except the fact that you're disrespecting me by trying to draw me into something you know I want no part of. I will not engage with you. I respectfully decline this conversation, and I'm walking away. Turn into a robot if you have to. Be mechanical. You owe these people nothing if they're going to purposely try to draw you in to drama. Same place and time as you would in a workplace. It's the same situation. You'll be having a conversation with a coworker, and all of a sudden something will happen, and next thing you know, you're in a heated debate with someone over mundane things. And if you know truly in your heart you don't want any part of this conversation, then don't be a part of the conversation. You owe this coworker nothing. You owe your boss nothing. If you feel like you're being disrespected by someone, I don't care how much you've worked in your job. I don't care how much you want to move up the ladder. If you're being disrespected and constantly being drawn in to conversations and things that you feel like you don't want to be a part of, that's your right to walk away. Now, I will say there is a level of toughness you need to have in certain situations. You don't want to be run over by a train by these people and make them feel like they can say whatever they want to you and you're just going to walk away. This is a different type of deal. We're talking about unnecessary conversations that don't need to be had in the first place. If it's a conversation to be had where there will be resolved after the conversation, not the drama-filled argument, after the communication, not the profanity-laced tirade these people may go on. If they want to communicate and resolve, that's one thing. If they want to go on tirades and yell and scream and shout and call you names and disrespect you and say things they know they don't mean and accuse you of being a person they know you are not, you don't have to engage in that. You don't. Because at that point in time, you're just as much as responsible for that drama as they are. You're contributing to it. You're contributing to it. Just like if someone was going to go say, hey, I'm going to go rob a bank today. Can you drive me there? You stay in the car. The cops pull up. You think you're not going to jail? You help the person go in to rob the bank. You're just as much as part of the problem as the person who's doing the initiating. Roll off. Roll off. Don't pull up on these people trying to match their heightened sense of ignorance and aggression, even their passive aggression. Don't do it. You're better than that. You're smarter than that. You owe it to yourself to be better than that. Your character is better than that. Again, people are watching. People are reacting. They want to see how you react in these situations. You owe no one anything, but you owe it to yourself to know that you can get through. Again, you are what you do repeatedly. Self-discipline. Drama. No. We don't do that. Be drama-free. That's what it's all about. It's always a sad state of affairs when you're living your life and you're walking on eggshells around people you know who are holding in anger, resentment, jealousy towards other people. And they're like a ticking time bomb. They're ready to explode. They're just looking for someone to let it all out on. They're waiting for the right person at the right time to unleash the tirade, to unleash the fury. They're looking for somebody who is going to stand there and take it, because there's no point in wasting all this energy that they have stored up and built up in them. So they're waiting. They don't even know that they're doing it. That's the one thing you have to give them a little bit of credit for. They're not, some of these people who are full of drama, and it's a repeated, almost like a self-discipline practice they have for themselves, because they feel empowered when they do this, and this inevitable supernova explosion of drama. But it happens in this particular case. You have the people who may not even seem like they have drama in them, and they're just holding it all in, and they're allowing themselves to be just pissed off by person after person after person and situation after situation, all these circumstances and failures that they're having. They have success in certain areas, and then they take a step back, and they make that step back far bigger than it really is, and they're not really learning from the mistakes. So they keep on getting into this flow pattern of mistakes and getting a little bit of success and moving back, and that can be frustrating for anyone. That can be very frustrating. We've all been through that. But what separates the people who can take the lessons from those failures and those setbacks and actually reapply them and move forward with re-implementing what they learned and not blaming anyone but themselves for making the failure to begin with, or just holding themselves accountable for what they're doing. You have other people that can't really do that. Everybody's different in this world. We live in the nexus connection here in this world, but not everybody is full of self-discipline and self-love and empowerment, and they don't really know how to work on themselves. And a lot of people don't want to work on themselves. They're perfectly fine with where they are. That's their choice. That's their right. But these people, some people, they're very passive-aggressive, manipulative, narcissistic. They're looking for their moment, and they want to unleash, and they're going to find the prey. They become a predator at this point. And a lot of times, again, they don't know that this is happening. But I'm sure you've known somebody who you can just see, this person's a ticking time bomb. They're going to explode. And when it happens, I do not want to be around. When this person finally decides, that's it, I've had enough, drama time. And you know this because, again, I'm talking about drama. Let's go back to that quote. You are what you do repeatedly. You know this from these people because You've seen it before. It's a repeated pattern. It's a routine these people have gotten into. I know it because I used to do it. My hand is held way high in the sky right now. I used to be the person maybe every 3 to 6 months, I would get into this pattern of I would hold everything in, very passive aggressive, and then I would just explode. And I wouldn't even know when it happened. It would just happen. And then once it's out, you're like, you know what? This feels kind of good. I'm finally free. At this point in time, I can pretty much do anything because I'm justified because I've held it in so long. I've been the nice guy all this time. It's time for me to show you how bad I can really get. Stupid mindset. Ignorant, selfish, dumb mindset that was. It gets you nowhere. It sets you back farther than you can ever imagine. And it takes you losing people and losing things and losing opportunities to understand that. You look back on it and you just look like a selfish little baby child who is trying to get his toy, and his mommy and daddy are saying, no, little man, you can't have your little toy. Go sit out in the corner somewhere. So you get mad and you start throwing and breaking things. That's what it was like. That's what it's like. There's other factors that come into that. I was raised in a home where you mimic what you see. And I saw a lot of that in my home from a lot of my family members. So you just kind of grow up inheriting the behaviors and things that you see from people who have been there before you, which again, that's why it's so important that you teach your children and the next generation and anyone you can help perspective. Don't have these experiences and then rebound from them and then not share them with other people. Share your success stories, what you overcame, how you overcame them, why it's so important how you feel now has gotten you to a more positive place. More people need to hear that. You hear too much in the world about negativity. Again, it's drama. We see too many of the blow-ups. You look on news, which is why I don't watch the news anymore. I used to watch CNN. I used to watch Fox, the local news. I have not watched the local news, CNN and Fox in years. I gave up on them. It's just no point. They're picking and choosing what they want to show you because they want eyeballs on the screen so they can sell your eyeballs to the advertisers. It's not real news. You want to get real news? If it's a big news topic or is a big something you really need to know, you will know because everybody be talking about it. You especially now with social media and you're on your phone all the time, you're gonna get a big news flash. Like Kobe Bryant just died recently. Rest in peace, Kobe. Miss you so much. But you knew that happened. Everybody was talking about it. When 9/11 happened, you knew that happened because everybody, the world is talking about it. It doesn't matter. All these little mundane things that the news tries to tell you, it's just drama. It's like a soap opera. They want to draw you into the drama, and then you get involved emotionally with it. You start getting attached to these topics and to these people and to these situations and to these storylines that have absolutely nothing to do with your life. Toxic people would do this as well. Through drama, people will pull you in. Now, you have the people who explode. We talked about those people. Let's move into the people who are every day, repeatedly, in a state of perpetual drama, like a sitcom, like a soap opera. These people typically sometimes end up being very codependent people. They're relying on other people for their happiness. They're relying on other people for their comfort, for their lifestyle, for their motivation, for their inspiration, for their finances, for their education, for their child support. You can name it across the board. These people are full of drama because they have absolutely no idea what they're doing in life in that aspect of the drama-free stuff. Meaning, if they were off on their own and forced to deal with their drama by themselves with no one being attached to it, how would they fare in life? And there's a very simple answer to that they would even tell you. I don't think I would last very long. I've had plenty of family members and friends who were down this rabbit hole, down in the briar patch, down in the tar, stuck in this world of drama by themselves. They were so into this train of drama, rolling back and forth on top of people on the tracks with their drama soap opera lifestyle, that people eventually say, you know what? Again, going back to the common denominator in any drama-filled situation is yourself, because you can remove yourself from that situation at any point in time. People eventually will get sick of the drama. They'll get sick of the sitcom. They'll get sick of the soap opera. They'll get sick of the characters, and they'll say, you know what? I'm turning off the television. I'm turning off the device where I'm watching this, and I'm going to step away and I'm going to go find something else to do with my time because you're not worth it anymore. Again, you're not doing this out of disrespect. You're doing it out of respect and self-love for yourself. You love yourself too much to be involved with somebody who cannot communicate properly, cannot show their emotions properly, cannot stand up on their own 2 feet when they're asked to, cannot think for themselves, cannot provide for themselves. And they're looking for a way out at every turn. They're looking for the open window. They're looking for the open door. They're looking for the next relationship. They're looking for the next job. They're looking for everything. They're not content with themselves. If somebody stripped them of all those things and said, here's $1,000, a car, go drive and find out how to build your life on your own. And by the way, your wardrobe is empty. There's no clothes in there. Go figure it out. How will these people fare? They're going to have a very difficult time. A, because they have no idea how to communicate in a respectful, empathetic, compassionate manner. B, they found inner strength in themselves in negativity, and to get your way through life in a positive way, you have to think positively. So there's no motivation there. There's no inspiration when you're living in negativity. C, they have voided themselves of any resources they can ever get from anybody because they've burned so many bridges with the drama. Nobody trusts these people. You have become toxic. This is a problem for so many people that I see. These reasons is why I state when you have to jettison people from your life who are toxic. You have to just say, hey, look, I got to move on. You have hit a wall and you're trying to drag me up a wall and throw me off a cliff somewhere. I can't do it. I cannot be a part of your drama-filled life. I have goals and aspirations. I have too much self-love for myself. I like positive people around me. I prefer positive situations. I want to work towards stuff. I want new challenges that are tough and difficult that you may not want to be a part of because you're fearful and afraid and codependent. I'm sorry, but I can't do that. I cannot be involved with somebody who's narcissistic. I cannot be involved with somebody who's talking out of both sides of their mouths. If you say something to someone, if you will let somebody go, be prepared to let them go. If you are in a job place and you enter it and you want to work your way up the ladder, work your way up the ladder. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you believe this is the person that you want to be with, you got to bring all that drama. All that drama has to go away. Unfortunately, we live in a world where there are so many people who are so willing to engage in drama because that's where we've come at, especially on social media. If you go watch any video, go on Facebook and watch, look at anybody's post, go on Instagram, look at a post and look at the comment section. That's all people do now because they're anonymous so they can fight and bicker, but it's full of drama. Full of drama. People have gravitated to this to a lifestyle status. It's repeated. It's a routine. It's self-discipline for them to be confrontational, to be short-tempered, to have absolutely no patience, no understanding, no empathy at all for other people. No respect at all for other people. Selfishness at its highest order, narcissism to its highest order. So what happens? So these people, you look for this drama. It has a drug-like effect to it. For certain people, it's addicting. The confrontation, the winning of arguments, the adrenaline rush. It's drama. It's drama. It's drama. The emotions you are pulling up all those emotions: anger, love for a person, camaraderie. Because most of the time, when you meet a drama person, there's always somebody else who's drama filled with them. That's how they empower each other. The workplace empowers them. The spouse empowers them. The children empowers them. The parents. The pastor. Doesn't matter where you are. The teacher, the professor, the therapist, the doctor. Everywhere you turn, people are full of drama. They're living out the drama-filled lives. You cannot do anything about that, but you can be drama-free. You can't do anything about them, but you can do it for yourself. And how you do it is very simple. You know who you are. You know what you want. And you go after it, and you're focused on something, and you don't have time for the drama. You're so focused on your path and what you have to do. You don't have time for all the games. You don't have time to have a conversation that's going to go nowhere with someone. You don't have time to be in a relationship that's going to go nowhere with someone. You don't have time to work in a workplace where you can't go up the ladder no matter what you do. You don't have time to be in a relationship with friends who are toxic and they're driving you down this drama-filled road. You cannot do this with these people. You got to hop off the train. You're too focused. You're too self-disciplined. You're too strong of a person to put yourself in the firing range of these people. You don't want to be standing on the firing range when these people are just unloading every day, drama all around you. And as we head into intermission, remember, everything and everyone in this world is connected. So let's look at this practically on the self-discipline side of drama. Be drama-free. I'll talk about my mindset behind it for myself. It's a mindset of channeling the most positive energy you can drain out of every moment, out of every day, every week, every month, every year. It is a constant flow, like an ocean, like a stream that leads to a lake that leads to an ocean. It's a constant flow from the rain to the rivers, to the streams, to the lakes, to the ocean. It's all water. It's a constant flow. You can go even higher. You can go up to the clouds. You can go higher than that. And what I mean by that, again, I always talk about the nexus. Everything's connected. You have to realize, even though you may feel small and insignificant in this world, you're not small and insignificant in this world. Your presence and your essence in this world matters. The way I frame a non-drama moment is by framing myself in the light of self-love. I say that I don't think a podcast goes by where I don't say self-love and self-discipline, value, worth, and yourself. I will beat that into anyone who listens because that's where it starts. You don't have to be a perfectionist at life. You just have to be aware of your existence and understand your value and be patient with your self-discipline and your self-love. It's a long journey. It's a long process, and people too easily in some of these podcasts I listen to and a lot of other motivational speakers and coaches, they say a lot of words, and they are helpful, but I always try to drill into people, words will only help people so much. You have to just get down to the core, and it doesn't cost money for you to do this. I heard someone the other day, they paid $1,000 to have a 1-hour phone conversation with a particular coach that I actually have learned a lot from when it comes to relationships. I learned a lot from. Didn't change my life. Definitely wouldn't be worth $1,000 phone call. But ultimately what this person ended up saying was that he got nothing from it. And what they found out was what I have been preaching all along. You don't need someone to tell you on that level. There's nobody who has that much wisdom in their mind where you're going to pay them $1,000 and they're going to fix you by giving you some words. They're going to talk to your brain through a phone and they're going to change your life. No, no one can change in that type of a way. It's impossible. You have to change yourself, which is why when people always bring up money, you must be doing the Brave Never Fall because you want to make a lot of money in the future. And people are shocked when I say, I hope the Brave Never Fall. My goal for it is to be a non-profit organization. I don't care if I ever make a cent from this. This is not about money. I can't make money if I'm telling you the key to your life and the key to being drama-free comes from within you. You should be paying yourself. You're your coach. I can help you put things in perspective. I can offer you meaningful advice, and I can motivate you and inspire you to be empowered enough to know that you can look within. That's my job. My job is to help people understand that they matter. That too often they're reminded by other people that they don't matter when they do. And that there are steps you can take to block out all the noise. I try to empower people to push beyond the known limits of themselves and go beyond the limitations that other people say that they have. You haven't explored yourself. It's like taking dating advice from a friend. What do they know? They're not you. They can't give you dating advice. You can look at all the models of people, but it ultimately goes to you making the decision, being aware and being woke enough to know that you have to go out and do these things on your own. You have to figure this stuff out on your own. We are all too unique for one person to have the same phone conversation with each person and charge $1,000 for it and say, I have the magic wand that will fix you, regardless if it's relationships or life coaching. They don't have all the answers. You have all the answers within inside you. You can get help from these people and support, but they cannot change you. The only person that can change you is you. The only person that can change you is you. You have to have the strength to take in all the knowledge from all these people and apply them. It will always come back to you. You can pay the $1,000 for the guy to talk to you and hang up the phone and say, you know what? I don't care, and walk off. So what did you get from it? People can offer you all the advice in the world, and if you still find yourself in drama-filled situations, you have no one to blame but yourself. You have to have a no-tolerance mindset when it comes to drama. When it comes to people who are set out every day, who have the mindset and set out every day, to cause as much pain and as much friction in life as possible. We have to understand that there are people out there. There are people who are subconsciously not aware that they're even have drama-filled lives. They're shocked when a group of people tell them, yeah, you're full of drama, and they're looking in shocked like someone died. Me? Yes, you. Yes, you. They get shot. But then you have the other people who are laughing when you say this to them. They are very aware. They're very aware, and they're very happy that you're hurt by it. They're very happy that they're causing your life distress. Why? Because they want you to know how they feel. That's how they feel. So they want you to feel the same thing. The problem is with these people, and I've often experienced it, and I've experienced it myself firsthand, so I can talk about it. Again, I'm not telling you something I haven't experienced. I'm telling you things that I have experienced. And I can tell you, the people who go out in the world and create the drama while other people are out here creating hopeful situations for themselves and try to put themselves in the best possible situations to be positive. The people who focus on the drama and focus on the negativity and make life harder and more complex than they have to, and don't know how to communicate and have no empathy, and are narcissistic, selfish, and jealous people, toxic people, these people are not happy people. Rarely do you see a person who has any of those traits, let alone a combination of them, and they're truly happy. They may put on the front, they may have the wardrobe, but again, that wardrobe does not fit them. They're living an illusion. They're looking at their wardrobe and believing that it's much more glamorous and powerful than it actually is. They know deep down inside they don't have what they want. And you do. Or you're on the path to getting what they want. They don't understand how you're able to be strong and you're happy and you're self-disciplined and you don't have all this drama. That you seem to be a very peaceful person amongst all the drama, amongst all the jealousy and the manipulation and the toxic tendencies that so many people often display in life. They don't know where you get the will to get up every day and not get involved with this drama if it's something that you've dedicated your life to. If you dedicated your life to not being in drama, it will, again, as we talked about at the beginning, you're going to exude that. It will be as present as your clothing. People will look at you and say, this person is not about drama. I'm not even going to mess with them. I had to learn this. I have minimalized the drama in my life so much to the point where sometimes I forget that I even was in a drama-filled situation where I woke up every day and I kind of just stumbled into drama because I was making so many poor decisions because I had no foundation to base any decision on in the first place. I had nothing to remind me in the moment, each moment when situations popped up, that you had to resort back to self-love before you make a decision. If you don't have people around you to hold you accountable, you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to go back and say, okay, I have self-love. I love myself too much to do what in this moment? I love myself too much to not pass this moment up and take advantage of this situation. I love myself too much in this situation to stay in it. I must walk away from it. A positive choice is always going to be a good choice. If you can see a positive outcome that doesn't involve conflict and negativity, it's a good choice. That's not the same as passing up on a challenge where you can get a positive outcome out of hardship that you create for yourself. Like if you take on a challenge of losing weight, or you take on a challenge of taking a more a higher level job, or you're taking a relationship to another level, you don't want to run away from those things. Those are challenges of life. Those things are going to pop up. You have to face those things. Those are fears. That's different. Facing a fear is different than facing somebody who has passive aggressive drama, jealousy, selfish, narcissistic, manipulative tendencies every day. That's a completely different thing. You can't always avoid the things you're afraid of because they're internally, they're in you. You can't avoid going to work and having to work your way up the ladder. That's something you chose to do. You chose to be in a relationship. You chose to take on the challenge of losing weight, of taking on a new activity, of getting rid of an addiction. These are challenges you created for yourself. Therefore, when you're in these situations, you have to understand you have a responsibility to follow through with what you started or ended. Either you're going to do it or you're not. Because if you don't, that's where the drama kind of starts to wiggle its way in there, and things start getting complicated and things start getting wobbly, unbalanced. The frequency doesn't quite line up with your lifestyle, and you start feeling a little weird. You start feeling a little unbalanced. You start feeling like you don't have any self-discipline. That's because you're allowing other people with their negative mindsets and their lifestyles and their drama to enter and flood into your flow. Now, instead of having a nice natural flow, these people are trying to stir up a tsunami and push your flow all over the place. They want you to be uncomfortable because they are. They want you to be unbalanced because they are. These people are not like you. Not everyone is the same. They have their choices to make in life, and you have yours. Not every choice is the same for these people because they don't have the mindset that you do. They don't have the core foundation that you're having from self-love and self-discipline to actually match your energy. You would never match energy with somebody who is high, filled with drama and hatred in their heart, and they are just every day, everything's negative, negative, negative. You would never line up frequency with these people. It's impossible. You shouldn't even try. And in most cases, you can try to help them, but until they're ready to help themselves and they don't see themselves for what they are, you can't even help these people. They're lost. And until they choose to find themselves, it's an exercise in futility trying to help these people and trying to enter a relationship with someone who is that unstable. Be drama-free. The most extreme version of it is, from what I experienced, was when I decided that I wanted to jettison and get rid of every single person in my life that was toxic, that even had a shred of drama in their lives. I stopped talking to them. If they were negative, stop talking to them. I set a boundary for myself, and we're going to talk about boundaries here in a second because that's is where drama really ultimately gets into your life. I set a boundary for myself at a certain point in my life where I kind of just woke up. If you ever seen The Force Awakens, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, where Finn, the stormtrooper, he's down on the planet of Jakku, and Kylo Ren, they're raiding a village, and Kylo Ren orders them to open fire on these innocent villagers, and Finn, a stormtrooper, and all these stormtroopers are conditioned as kids. They're taken from their homes as kids and raised as stormtroopers against their will, basically, and they're conditioned and reconditioned and reconditioned and reconditioned to be a stormtrooper over their lifetime, to be the best stormtrooper. Finn was one of the best stormtroopers that they had. They raise their rifles. The stormtroopers start firing at these innocent villagers, and Finn lowers his weapon. Kylo Ren looks at him, and he can sense there's something about this stormtrooper. He still has his helmet on. This is also Finn's friend is killed in this battle. And Finn stands up, and he is very obviously discombobulated. He is just walking around confused. It seems like his senses are heightened. He's like, it's almost like he was never a stormtrooper. He just kind of wakes up in this moment where his friend dies and smears blood on his helmet, and Finn is just kind of a little bit in a panic. He's basically having a panic attack, and it's like he doesn't even understand where he's at or what's going on. And Kylo looks at him like, just gives him the longest, weirdest stare, and then walks off. And then you see Finn later on the ship. He finally reveals himself. He takes his helmet off, and he's panting. He's clearly about to have a panic attack. And he ends up leaving the First Order and Kylo Ren. He ends up fighting Kylo Ren at the end, being called a traitor by Kylo Ren, even though Finn was a stormtrooper who was raised from basically birth, taken from his family to be raised as a stormtrooper, and he basically jettisoned the First Order and joined the quote-unquote positive side, the light side, with the rebels. And often when I saw that movie, at the time, I didn't quite understand it. And I remember maybe about 2 years later, I kind of had that same moment. And I could remember when it happened. I was at work one day, and I was dealing with a situation with my wife at the time. I'm not divorced. And there were some things going on at work. I was surrounded by people who were negative all the time. Everybody I worked with was pretty much negative. Everything was negative. Blame this person. I'm jealous of this person. This person has what I don't have. No motivation. Then I would go home and I would have these problems with my wife. A lot of the issues she had were my fault. A lot of the issues I had were her fault. I was dealing with a son who had special needs. I was just in a tailspin. I wanted a change. I didn't know who I was. I felt weak. I needed purpose. I was just in a tailspin. And I remember one day, I was at work and I just decided, I was in the bathroom looking at myself in the mirror, in the bathroom, at work. And I said, this is it, man. From this day forward, you are not going to do anything but the best. No more drama from people. No more bullshit from yourself. No more crybaby, wussy, sissy stuff from you either. It's time to get yourself in check. You don't know how to do it? Go figure it out. Today, you're going to find something new to do with your life today. And that very day, I got a call from the National Academy of Sports Medicine because I was inquiring about him. And the guy was like, hey, we offer this. You sound like you'd be. He asked me all these questions before they even allowed me to even. He just wanted to know my heart was in it. I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to do this. He's like, I can tell by the passion in your voice. I'm going to give you a huge discount. And I'm also going to throw in. Now, obviously, this is something he probably applies to everyone. But in the moment, I needed that. I needed to hear that from him. He gave me some purpose that day. And that day changed my life. That day absolutely changed my life. I can't remember the exact day, but I still have it on my computer because I remember he sent me the email information and I saved it because I was like, this is the day. So many things happened after that. I kind of lost track of time in that moment. And it's a moment that I'll never forget because the voice you're hearing now stemmed from that very moment. I was never the same. I dedicated myself to being a better husband the best way I could. I knew it was going to be a slow process, but I tried. I gave it all I could. The damage had been done on both ends. Marriage couldn't be salvaged. But it didn't make me give up. I knew, okay, well, it's a negative situation. Just start over. Go over to the wardrobe, take everything out, throw it away, start over. And that's exactly what I did. And I had new purpose as a personal trainer, and I took it as a challenge. I didn't look like a personal trainer. I can tell you that. If the guy on the phone had seen me, he would have been like, whoa, wait a minute, stop. You want to be a personal trainer? Because I was a meathead back then. I was weightlifting all the time. I was about 35 pounds heavier than I needed to be for my frame. All what I thought was muscle, layered with a giant layer of fat because I would go home every night and drink 6 beers and have 4 bowls of ice cream and eat McDonald's and fast food all the time. I was very unhealthy. I went down to the track one time and tried to run a couple miles, barely ran a mile, and I had to come home. Now I can run 7, 8, 10 miles without even really breathing out of my mouth. I can do it just breathing out of my nose at a high speed. It all stemmed from that moment where I made the conscious decision that I no longer wanted any drama in my life. And I knew it was going to be a long process because once you're in the pattern of drama, people want you to stay there. The moment they see you making any progress towards the opposite direction, people get confused by you. What the hell are you doing? Why are you so calm during this situation? I would tell them, there's two ways we can approach this bad situation. We can approach it through negativity and get all irate and crazy, or we can look at what we have here, take all the positives out of it, build on that, and everything that's negative in here, we deal with it, but we don't ever come back to that negative part again. We get rid of it. Unfortunately, that comes with people not getting what they want, because a lot of times with negative situations, some of the elements involved includes people's decision making, and they don't want to be told what to do. People don't like to be told what to do. I don't like to be told what to do, so I completely sympathize with that. But people also don't want to hear good advice. They start saying things like, why can't you just agree with me? I can't stand when people say that to me. If there's two things that I don't like people saying to me. If you listen to the podcast long enough, you heard in other podcasts, I don't like when people ask me, who do you think you are? That drives me. That is the number one thing I do not like people ever asking me, who do I think I am, as if they know who you're supposed to be. Drives me crazy. And the other thing I do not like that goes hand in hand with that is, why do you always have to have your own opinion? Why can't you just sit there, listen, and agree with me? They almost get there. Sit there and listen, which is what I do. But the moment you go too far and they ask you a question, you give them your opinion and they don't agree with it, now all of a sudden you become an enemy. It's almost like, you didn't agree with me, you must think I'm stupid. It's like, no, we just have opposing view here. That's all it is. Again, drama. That's drama. Unnecessary drama, because someone doesn't have the confidence and the security in themselves to just stand behind their opinion without shouting or yelling and just offer their opinion, hear your opinion out and your viewpoint out completely, and assess it and say, no, I disagree. Here are my points. Not talking over each other, not yelling, not becoming aggressive, and at the end of the conversation, you shake hands, you give each other a hug. Everything's good. That is good, productive conversation. That is a drama-free situation. And that's a situation you want every time you communicate with someone. If you're getting to the point where you're agitated, where you want to throw something, where you're annoyed, you're repeating yourself over and over and over and over again to someone, because you're understanding where they're coming from, but they're refusing to listen to you fully and understand and accept what you're coming from. And if need be, you two go two different ways. They want to allow you to make the decisions you're making because they feel like, again, who do you think you are? I know you better than you. You're going to listen to me and you're going to do exactly what I say to you because I know better. There's nothing wrong with somebody offering you an advice. If it's good advice, you're going to take it, aren't you? Goes back to self-love, self-discipline. I listen to people's advice all the time. If it's positive advice, if it's something that makes sense, something that's going to add value to my life, I would be a fool not to take it. That'd be like somebody walking up to you and saying, hey, I'm a billionaire. Today, I chose to give somebody a brand new car and $100,000. You can buy a house with it. You can pay off your debt. This is just my gift to you. That'd be like you saying to someone who offers you that type of advice and support in your life by saying, hey, whoa, stop. Hate to say this, sir, but you can go screw yourself. You can take your money in your car, you bastard, and get away from me. And that's exactly what negative drama-filled people do to people who are just trying to walk up to you and offer you a little support and advice. You can either take it or you don't have to take it. But why get to the point where you're in hostile territory after you've said this to people? Especially if, let's take that billionaire situation before, you see this person and you walk up and ask him for it. And he gives it to you. And then you tell him, go screw yourself. Hey, sir, I see that you have $100,000 and you have a very beautiful, nice car there. I can clearly tell you're a billionaire. You mind giving me that car and $100,000? Are you going to give it to me? Go screw yourself. And then you walk off. That's what happens with these people when they walk up to you, and especially if they know that you change your life around, you're trying to surround yourself with positivity, and you get to a point where you are sure of yourself, you're grounded in self-love, and you seem to be making all the right choices. So these people curiously are going to want to know how you're getting there. They come and have a conversation with you, and then you say what you have to say, and next thing you know, like the snap of a finger, here comes the genie out of the lamp, a mean, evil genie, and they're ready to change your life with 3 wishes, basically, and saying, look, no. Whatever you learn, Mr. Positivity, Mrs. Positivity, that's all wrong. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why that's wrong. And this is me, and this is why I'm doing it, this and this and this. Don't judge me. That's drama. That's unnecessary drama. And that's the type of stuff I was enduring every day at my job, at home, with my family members. Everybody was doing that. And guess who was doing it more than they were? I was doing it. I was doing it. I was one of those people. I was that genie that would come out of the lamp, but instead of giving people 3 wishes, I was giving people 3 reasons why they should hate me. And it was disgusting. It was weird, and it was codependent, and it was out of a loathing of myself. And it comes a point in time, if you have self-love, once you find it, that you will get out of it, because you will realize it's exhausting to be that way. You will push the kind people, the people like that billionaire who's going to offer you the car and the money with that wise advice that you should take. You don't get the advice anymore, because these people, they're throwing their hands up. We're done with you. You don't want to learn anything. You want to live in misery. You have choices being presented. You have people who are trying to help you, and you're refusing to help. You, therefore, at that point in time, are not capable of being helped. And there are other people out here who are more than capable, and they deserve those people's attention. It's a choice. I wanted to be surrounded by people who would help me, and that's exactly what I did. And unfortunately, even to this day, I find myself alone, sitting on a bench a lot of times with my own thoughts in solitude, because a lot of things I've learned from people I've never met in person. I've had to resort to coaches and people who could teach me some things and make me relearn myself. And I learned the religion of Tao and started following that, and I started trusting myself more. Unlike a lot of people out here, I actually learned how to do this on my own. I had some help here and there, but for the most part, I chose to do this alone, because some of the people I respect most did it by themselves. I'll talk about David Goggins a lot. He didn't have anybody help him. He did it all on his own. It is possible. And I chose to sit along on that bench and soak in all the knowledge I could for myself. Wanted to reinvent myself. Wanted to go over to that wardrobe, open it up, and I took everything out and I burned it. And I'm still refilling that closet, that wardrobe, one article of clothing at a time. It's tailor-made and fit for my unique, original, special self. Built on self-love. And I teach this to anybody else who will listen. If you want to be out of drama-filled relationships and situations, it starts with you. You can exit that situation anytime you want. The ability to communicate doesn't mean you should. A lot of times with these drama-filled people, just don't speak. The power of not speaking when you know you can is far more powerful than speaking a bunch of bullshit to somebody who doesn't even care. They're not listening. They're not going to learn anything from it. And you certainly aren't either. There's no point in that. There's no point in drama in that sense. It's just a foundation with a fountain of negativity shooting up continuously on a loop over and over and over again. Let's go back to that quote one more time. You are what you do repeatedly. Aristotle. Be drama-free. Be you. Be unique. Be special. Be a unicorn. Be somebody that is going to walk your walk. Talk your talk. Respectfully, kind, empathetic, with self-love. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.